Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 drama. A few of the strangest minutes of the entire year of Formula 1 occurred last night at the FIA prize giving, with Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the president of the FIA, getting into a trash-talking concept it seemed with Christian Horner live on stage as he handed over the award for the Constructors' Championship. Does this prove, as some are suggesting, that he is unfit for that job? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. So here we go then, the prize giving yesterday for the FIA. Not just Formula 1, but the other motorsports that the FIA cover. Here we go with, the usual cast from the Red Bull side. This I thought was quite cool to note. Zane Maloney, one of the, I think he won the Rookie of the Year. Leclerc gives him the award here. He's got a seat next season in F2, definitely an exciting prospect. But here we go. So they were sitting down doing a press conference. You guys can see in this image here, we've got, well, the two drivers in the middle, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the FIA President Christian Horner. A few interesting words actually on, he was asked a question, how is it with Max and Checo versus Vettel and Webber, and he says it's much less stressful with these new guys rather than the two before. I wonder if in a few years time he'll be saying a similar thing about his current driver set compared to Max and Checo. Who knows what's going on there behind the scenes, but this is what goes down. They give out the prizes, they do some nice awards. It should be a nice, pretty fun affair. We usually get some nice highlights from this every single year, but a very surprising highlight occurred when they were giving out the trophies. Here's Christian Horner with the Constructors title that Mercedes had to give it back earlier in the day, and then Red Bull took it over for the first time since 2013, and it was all rather nice. Christian Horner was dedicating the win to Dietrich Mateschitz, and all nice moments. Then Mohammed Ben Sulayem decides to get involved here. This was just absolutely absurd. If you guys could watch this entire 2 minutes without cringing or looking away, I do applaud you, but I will share it all. So there was this 1 minute clip that came out. There's an additional segment to this that I did have to share just because there's a really strange thing that happens at the end when Horner's holding up the trophy and Ben Sulayem's like pushing his hand up further to like hold the trophy higher. I don't know, really strange. So basically what happens here is Horner collects the trophy. Ben Sulayem says, congratulations, but it's not part of the cost cap for some reason, bringing that up. And then they get into a bit of a contest over the Japan drama towards the end of the Japanese Grand Prix, where the rules were kind of unclear as to whether the teams would be handed maximum points or whether they wouldn't get maximum points based on the regulations. And Stefano Domenicali's like, mate, please calm it down. And I don't know, maybe he just had too much to drink, but even that would be controversial given what I imagine his religion is, right? So don't know, can't really comment too much on that, but it does seem to me that this guy wasn't fully sober. I've got to share the full clips here because it's just absolutely absurd.
I'll say something to Christian. Christian, this cup has nothing to do with the cost cap, okay? So be careful, this is from the FIA, so we are not going to deduct it from your cost cap, okay?
No, that's very generous, thank you.
You don't dare saying anything.
No, I didn't say anything. Championship in Japan, even though there was a bit of confusion over the points there, but thankfully Max won it early and he saw it. And then the next weekend, the day after he passed, we managed to win this trophy. So it's a very special one.
Thank you, Christian. First of all, you deserve the win, if it's the manufacturer or Max. Secondly, you said about Dietrich. I drove with the Red Bull sponsorship in my last championship. And one thing you said about Japan, you said was controversial. No, the FIA was blamed for the points, but it was not the FIA which made the rules. It was the teams who made the rules, and we were implementing it. So thank you for the
Okay, guys.
Yes, you see?
Let's stay focused.
To me, it's very, very clear about the FIA, and we do that. So thank you very much. He is right. They deserve the win. Everyone who wins deserves it. These are the rules. So well done. I say it honestly. And for more wins also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you to the team and for this wonderful. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the last picture of the year. Please put your hands together.
Amazing stuff. Our 2022 FIA Formula 1 World Champions. All right, gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to come back here for a...
So they basically got into some sort of like verbal fight there, and it almost seemed like at the end Horner was going to pick the mic back up and say something again, and you know, but eventually just says, you know what, all right, let's just leave it here, and Stefano Domenicali has to come in and say, look guys, calm it down, because I don't know, this guy was just going off a cliff, and people are looking at this from either way. They're either saying that, oh yeah, he's in bed with Red Bull, right, because he's trying to cover up that he's in bed with Red Bull, and he was trying to hold up the Constructors' Trophy at the end, almost like it was his trophy, which I don't really buy. But I just do think that, you know, these words and the way he was stating the FIA's perspective there was just seemed entirely unnecessary in the first place, given the fact that this award is meant to celebrate Red Bull and their victory and all the positive things that are associated with that. And Horner had said some nice words about Dietrich Mateschitz and all that as well. And then he's basically getting into a contest here with Horner, because Horner said there was some confusion, and he wants to make the point that actually the FIA, you know, there was no confusion there from their side. The rules were clear on what happened in Japan. Basically, what happened in Japan was, if you guys aren't familiar with the story there, that well, the championship for Verstappen was decided there. The race had been postponed due to rain and then was resumed, but they couldn't complete the entire race distance, of course. So the belief was that because they hadn't completed like 50% of the race, they would be given about half points for the race. Now, it turned out that due to the rules stating that if the race is suspended and then can't be resumed, then these points are given out. But if the race can be resumed, as it was, then full points are given out, which in fairness is a stupid rule, because let's say it got resumed with 1 lap to go, they did the lap, like basically nothing happened in the entire race, but full points are given out. Seems a bit controversial, but you know, Mohammed Ben Sulayem's like, well, actually not our fault, guys, you came up with the rules, we're just implementing them, but yet none of the teams seemed to know what was going on. And I'm sure Horner was going to push back further on this, but was like, we probably need to just call it a day there. And Stefano Domenicali from the Formula 1 side agreed. It was like, guys, calm it down. So I don't know what you guys think about this. Of course, we've had some funny moments here in the past from, you know, Kimi Raikkonen and the like having maybe a little bit too much to drink, but like if he had a bit too much of the red wine, then maybe they need to in future prevent that from happening before the actual prize giving ceremony, so stuff like this doesn't happen. But yeah, pretty embarrassing for Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the FIA, and maybe, you know, I don't know, Christian Horner obviously got involved a bit, but it's not really his fault what occurred here, to be perfectly honest. And I feel like anyone in the world would have a tough time getting to one of these shouting matches with Christian Horner, let alone you know, maybe not if you're fully sober. So yeah, spicy stuff. Intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just madness that happens in Formula 1, to be honest. This is why the on-track action is sometimes not even as entertaining as what we see off it. Couple of updates before we close out the video. This is a big one on Albert Park, the Melbourne Grand Prix, of course, in Australia. 4 DRS zones will return. Now, we saw this last season on practice on Friday when the kind of back straight, it's not really a straight, it's a curved straight, but the cars nowadays have so much downforce, especially from the floor, that opening DRS around those corners is probably no issue, because DRS can cause some safety concerns. You open the flap, it reduces the downforce of the wing, therefore, you know, you can spin out more easily. So there was a debate there as to whether it was too dangerous to have DRS open on that back side of the track and allow another DRS zone. So yeah, I don't know, 4 DRS zones in Albert Park. If your circuit needs 4 DRS zones to be good for passing, probably not a particularly good circuit, but yeah, I don't know. I like the idea, to be perfectly honest, especially with the new cars, and I think it's kind of right for having another DRS zone there, because it does create some exciting action. It's a great track for qualifying and stuff, but I'm going to need more convincing that it works well for the race. Also on the Ferrari side, because Charles Leclerc has been asked also at the meeting with the FIA guys we saw last night about what's happening at Ferrari. Will the transition be smooth? Obviously, he's not going to say, like, you know, I find these quotes funny because at the end of the day, Leclerc's not going to come out and say, oh yeah, I think it's going to be awful, guys. There's no way we're going to win next season. It's absolutely chalked. He's like, yeah, it's going to be a smooth transition. We're not going to suffer. Leclerc's good with PR and stuff like that. But he was also quizzed on his kind of choice of replacement for Binotto, saying, you know, Fred Vasseur obviously is the leading candidate to our understanding. And he says, yeah, I respect Vasseur's honesty and his approach, but it's not my decision who joins. So, you know, look, these guys have a long relationship. Wouldn't be massively surprising if he is the next man more for Ferrari. And the rumour is it's going to be announced before the end of the year. So stay tuned for that one. Hit the sub button, all that good stuff. And just to close out with this, the most Q3 appearances in 2022, Verstappen and Sainz every single race of the season. Leclerc missed 1, Hamilton and Perez missed a couple, and then Russell. Alonso, honestly, pretty impressive from Alonso, I've got to say. 18 out of 22 Q3 appearances, with his teammate Ocon only in 11 of those, is pretty impressive stuff. Even better than Norris. I mean, okay, in fairness, the Alpine was a better car, but still, like, that's impressive stuff from Alonso. Alonso. Just a shame about his reliability this season. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.